Okay, now this is one of those videos where I'm kind of like talking about a particular comment, and this was on the video I did yesterday, I think, in regards to, why are certain media outlets no longer covering the show, Sisters. And one person said, you bash the show so much now, you have people being picky instead of just watching and enjoying the show. And I went on to comment, everyone is free to have their own opinions and actions regarding the show, just as I'm free to give my own opinions and breakdowns. Another comment says, nobody enjoys this show. Every person that reviews this show bashes the show. It is trash. And someone else says, but Jeremy's telling the truth. Other reviewers who don't even know each other mirror Jeremy's views. The show drags and it is repetitive. We continue to watch it to support Tyler and these black actors. The show has so much potential. As a black woman, I don't want to see successful black women depicted like this. I'm in the age group, and I assure you my group of friends don't act like this. I guess that means this person is in the age range of the Sisters characters, mid to late 30s. My advice and plea is for Tyler to hire black women to write the story, or at least have a script editor who actually who he will actually listen to. Now, a bunch of the comments are talking about how the show is draining and how other shows are better in comparison. But yeah, this video, don't get me wrong. This is not like I'm feeling hurt by this comment or, oh my God, I had an epiphany. Am I really the reason why people are turning away from the show? I've had a number of people, not just with Sisters, but a number of people who have said, hey, your videos are the reason that I tune in to certain shows, or hey, I'm so far behind on this show, or personally, I've lost interest in the show, but your reviews and your commentary keep me up to date. And I find that pretty, fulfilling, because kind of in the same way of the CW's Arrowverse or The Flash, since that seems to be the only Arrowverse show still left now, I stopped actively watching that show at least 3 seasons ago, but there are a number of commentators who I will listen to their reviews and breakdowns all the time, so at least I know what's going on outside of maybe a few YouTube clips here and there. And yeah, I understand. I mean, sometimes a fandom gets tired and they want to move on to something else. Like, they don't completely remove themselves from the room of a certain show. They might keep their, their pinky toe or something in the door just to kind of know what's going on, and keep the door cracked to just know how things eventually turn out. But when it comes to Sisters, I've been reviewing the Tyler Perry shows since The Haves and the Have-Nots. I mean, The Haves and the Have-Nots, The Pains, If Loving You Is Wrong, and at the start I was reviewing every single Tyler Perry show on BET Plus. I mean, that alone was close to 7 shows. What, Oval, Ruthless, Bruh, Sisters, Assisted Living, House of Pain. Did I say Ruthless already? Yeah, basically half a dozen or more shows. So the Tyler writing has become stale and repetitive. And yeah, there have been people who have said, my, theories or my thoughts or whatever has influenced them in some way. But my entire purpose of creating the channel and the Facebook pages and the Instagram and the Twitter, it's about people being free to communicate their thoughts on these shows. We don't always have to agree. Trust and believe, I think it would be pretty damn boring if we all thought the same thing, because the discussion would just be people regurgitating the same thing over and over. Sometimes there have been people who have swayed my opinion because they have a perspective that I don't, or they caught some dialogue or a clue that I didn't. But I'm not going to sit here and say that, I take back anything I said. No, I'm just a regular person with quote unquote nothing to lose in terms of being honest. I've had actors from a number of these shows who have said, look, I respect and value your opinion and feedback, because you're not just one of these people who bash our shows and say, oh, these people can't act, Tyler Perry can't write. You actually have constructive feedback. And I appreciate that, because of the fact that if I had no desire or interest in any of these shows or Tyler Perry projects, don't you think I would have stopped talking about them a long time ago and just went a completely different direction with the channel? I mean, sure, this is my main source of income outside of eBay, So you could argue, well, Jeremy, you're just doing Sisters and whatnot because it's the highest, like rated stuff on your channel. Yeah, they're the most monetizable videos outside of like maybe House of Pain, but that's not why I continue this show. I'm actually intrigued with some of the characters, but with 4 seasons almost completely done of the show, and some of these characters who are just become stale, it's become the haves and the have-nots, where the first like 2 or 3 seasons of the show, you got a grip of who these characters were, and they were kind of evolving. But once we hit like season 4 or 5, for some reason, Tyler just put them in a rut, and they've been in the same thing. And we saw how the haves and the have-nots ended, and we don't want the same thing with Sisters. But look at Sisters. Like I said, from season 1 to season 4, how many of these characters have actually changed? Andy's still in the whole, Gary, you haven't changed, I'm so dumb, yada yada. We're still hearing the same season 1 shit, and that's why people have grown tired of it. Look, the Zach and Fatima stuff is the fan draw. It's the thing that gets the fans watching, but even I'm just sitting back like, damn, Tyler, how much are you going to put Zach through? Like, at this point, I don't even know if I were him, he's probably looking like, I wish I never got this money in the first place. All these baby mamas, these people trying to get me locked up. It's just ridiculous. It's too much pressure. I honestly, it's kind of funny that somebody would just say out of the blue, I'm the reason these other people don't like the show. I think that my thoughts and opinion, I don't think they are powerful enough to influence that many people, because keep in mind, the show is still rated #1 on BET for a reason. Like, you could say that I'm responsible for this or that. I'm not saying that from an egotistical place or to get a big head. I'm saying you could say that, but in terms of media outlets, I think aside from like TV Line and once or twice I might see an episode and I'm like, yo, I gotta see what Ashley Miller got to say about this episode, or maybe another commentator or blogger. That's about it. Like, I don't go out of my way to like binge other people's reviews. It's just like, that's why I started doing the TV Line recaps, or should I say the reactions to the TV Line recaps, because I'm like, damn, I'm glad I'm not the only one who, because sometimes when I'm not recording, I'm like, and I'm editing, I'm like, damn, was I too harsh on the episode? Even I'm like, yeah, I did kind of give it a low score. But then when I start reading other people's reviews, I'm like, shit, I was nice by comparison. But no, it's like, I don't think that I'm a person who is deterring people from watching Tyler Perry content. And I remember like, what was it remember when the haves and the have-nots went off for like a year? I think it was between season 6 and 7. Like, that was the first time the show was gone for, what was it? No, I don't think it was a year, like 6 months. I think it was like 6 months. It came back the following year. And during that 6 months, remember, I had a lot of experience, because remember, there was a time where it was haves and have-nots and that was all I was doing. But then I changed and started doing other shows, and during that 6-month gap, keep in mind, I was doing like Ambitions, If Loving You Was Wrong, all the Tyler Perry shows on BET. Remember, he rolled out like a bunch of them at once, and I kept saying, look, when the haves and the have-nots comes back on, the gloves are off. The show is about to enter its 7th season, or whatever season it was, and I'm not going to be lenient. Like, I'm going to call out the stuff that's, bad and, slow storytelling and whatnot. And I remember a few people were like, Jeremy, I used to enjoy your reviews, but the energy is gone. You're just so cynical now. I want to unsubscribe. And I've had, people have said, but I mean, if you want to unsubscribe, hey, by all means, nobody's forcing you to listen to me. This is free content. But it was at a point where I'm like, okay, the show is just that bad. It's just a shame, because we know Tyler Perry is capable of doing much better than what he's doing now. And at the same time, his flagship show was being treated like trash. So when it comes to Sisters and whatnot, you can feel how you feel, but I think that my opinions are in the majority here in regards to what's good and what's bad. So yeah, to say that I'm the reason other reviewers say the show's bad, that's horse crap. if you feel that way, I guess you can feel that way, but I honestly don't care. So that's really it. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Agree to disagree. Like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one.